Hello everyone and welcome back for another What I Know For Sure. So this month, what I know for sure is that we still live in a very heteronormative society. If you don't know what heteronormativity is, then heteronormativity is the assumption that everyone you meet is instantly straight. And I'm not going to lie, I am guilty myself of assuming this. Another fact is that within the last 50 years, New Zealand has completely changed with homosexuality, so it's still a hard thing to adjust to, even for myself as well, because I am heteronormative. With all the fairy tales we've all grown up reading and listening to, it's very, very heteronormative. Everyone is straight. It's a representation of the stereotypical heterosexuality with a masculine man with a feminine woman. I get it. They were written ages ago, long before homosexuality was even accepted or even thought of as a choice. Maybe not, actually. You never know. I'm not the biggest history geek. For today's society, I definitely don't think that those fairy tales are acceptable for the current generation just because they are seen as outdated now. Inclusivity, which is what we should be teaching young kids from day one, just including everyone and making people feel happy with who they are, which has seemed to fail big time, and we can see this with all the sexism, homophobia, just racism in the world. We can see that we haven't accomplished what we want to do. I know what you're going to think. You're going to think, Tamoki, if we cut out all of these fairy tales, what are we going to do? Don't cut them all out. Some of them are very, very important. They've all got different morals, but we could get kids to read Charlotte's Web as well. We could also get a whole lot of authors to write new fairy tales with homosexuality and multiple genders. And it doesn't have to be like, hey, I'm gender fluid, I'm intersex or anything. It can just be like a hidden thing. It doesn't have to be clearly stated. But as long as there is that inclusivity in there, then that should be cool enough. I personally have some experience with heteronormativity. I always go camping with my friends in like the northern Auckland area. So when I was in my early teenage years, one person saw me with my best friend who was a girl and just went up to us and was like, you're married and everything, and just came up with this whole backstory of how we met, how we got married, where it was and everything. Worst thing was, I was questioning my sexuality at that point and I did not tell anyone because I was ashamed and I was a little embarrassed. That does not help when you live in a heteronormative society and you're questioning yourself. Would be worse if your society wasn't accepting of homosexuality though, but for New Zealand, heteronormativity, worst scenario if you're questioning your sexuality. Not the best experience for anyone who is questioning their sexuality. And the thing is that with this heteronormativity, it gave me this feeling that there was this big expectation of me needing to be straight, and that is not cool. That is not nice. Let alone the fact that I am half Asian, and in Asian culture, there is a big expectation for your child to be straight. Heteronormativity is still in our sex education, and that is 100% embarrassing. There is not one part of our sex education which isn't embarrassing. You would think that a country like New Zealand, which is so accepting and open with sexuality, you would think we would have a bit more of an open-minded sex education. Surprise, we don't. It's always a man and a woman, and that's it. And I'm like, it's the 21st century. Like, there's a lot more types of relationships in this world. There's polyamorous, there's same-sex. It's like, ooh. And then there's also different gender identities. We need to include those as well. Heteronormativity is thought through relationships, where there's a man and a woman, but the man is a masculine and the woman's a feminine. Whereas, personally, if I'm in a relationship with a girl, I would look for a woman who is feminine, but there's also that tiny bit of masculinity in them. It's always the feminine female and the masculine male, and I'm like, not really for me, because I'm a bit more feminine than masculine, although I'm not completely feminine. Heteronormativity could lead to someone thinking that their sexuality is bad, but it can also take effect on straight men as well. It can take effect on how a feminine straight man, because there are those people around, or maybe the not feminine but not masculine men think something's wrong with them, there's like some sort of disorder going on with them or something, and you don't want that to actually go around. There are tomboys. We shouldn't even really have masculinity and femininity roles in our country anymore, because you know what? They're useless. We don't really need those stereotypes. We need, like, Taika Waititi or Peter Jackson to make feminine straight men and masculine straight women, and like masculine gay men and feminine gay women as well. Like, just inclusivity, because that is needed in our society. Melanie Murphy made a short film for Buffer Festival back in 2016, and it was a short film on her bisexuality, because she's a feminine bisexual interested in feminine women, and the short film is called Femme, which I will link in the description below for you. It tackles subjects like heteronormativity with masculinity and femininity, but then it also tackles down the stigmas of same-sex relationships with women. Melanie Murphy makes great short films in general. There's one called Dear Separation Anxiety, which I have spoken about in a video before, and that talks about her separation anxiety disorder. There's also one called Choice, which is on Abortion Island. And by the way, Ireland, in May, you had your referendum to say choice or life. Personally, I would choose choice if I was able to vote. But make sure you do vote, even if it is for life, because we should all be voting. For this month, Oprah's quote is, "You become what you believe, not what you wish or want, but what you truly believe." Thank you so much for watching this What I Know For Sure. Definitely leave a like, comment something down below, subscribe for new videos because I make new videos every week along with a What I Know For Sure every month, and I'll see you all in the next video.